If you're an NBA fan, this video is for you. Yesterday, I met Drew Hanlen at Barnes & Noble in Center City, Philadelphia, to celebrate the upcoming launch of his brand new book, Stop Bullshitting Yourself. And in this video, you're gonna see some of the behind-the-scenes moments and NBA stories from not only Drew, but Tyrese Maxey and Kelly Oubre Jr. So enjoy the show and stick around to the interview at the end.
To be honest with you, the other thing that I would say from being behind the scenes with them is after every game, we're always talking about what they can do better, and there's times when we're it'll be we're confused, you know what I mean? We got to figure this thing out. We're going back and watching film. We're going and looking at other teams, and it's like a nonstop solution fest where we're trying to find solutions and figure it out. And so when fans don't think that they don't understand. Literally, the last thing that they want to do is keep the losing going, or not get over, or with injuries. Injuries are the most frustrating thing in the world. And there's sometimes like for him last year, he was going through a little shoot ever NBA client when I was in college. I remember we got out of his Ferrari and we go up into his penthouse. True story. And he literally, and I'm in college. I'm not sleeping at night, and I'm just trying to obtain everything that he has. And we were walking in his door, and he's like, "Man, life isn't fair." And I was like, I was like, "Yeah, you're right." You know what I mean? I'm sleeping in the guest bedroom, and I'm riding shotgun, and I can't afford the maintenance on your car, but you're getting another car, and then but he was like, "No, you don't understand. I trade all that if I had internal peace. If I could literally go to sleep at night and not have to stress, not have to worry, if I could go out to eat and not have to take pictures and sign autographs and do all that. These are different, but sometimes it's it might be him with his family and his little kids, and he's just trying to have a nice day out. And then there's people that are like, "Hey, can we get pictures?" And then if he says no, "Hey, I'm just trying to enjoy my family, but I appreciate the support and super nice," they're like, "Oh, Kelly's an asshole." And you're like, "Wait a second, I just was so nice to you. I'm just trying to have a nice time with my family." Chipping away. It's literally convincing yourself that whatever you're trying to get to is possible. Because I think that's what, that's what a lot of people don't understand is it's funny, even with him, what was it, last year? Yeah. Last year, I literally, when he walked in the gym, the first thing I said is I was like, "Can you average 26 points a game?" Huh. And he was like, 26, I've got the leading scorer in the NBA, it takes a lot of shots, and I was like, if you don't think you can, then there's 0% chance you will.
Right.
And then it became he's like, "No, I can do it." And then sure enough, he averaged exactly 26 last year, and he was laughing because I was I told him too before the year, I was like, whatever you kind of put your mind on, that's what it is. Him earlier this season, it was funny because he started off and he wasn't as efficient as he wanted to be, and we went through film, and I was like, points and percentages, percentages is what you're after. And since we had that conversation, he's literally shooting 51% from the field. And so it's amazing what your mind can accomplish when you're you know what I mean, locked in on something. But I think that's the thing that I think is so valuable from both of these guys is I know his upbringing a lot, but he had to move around a lot when he was younger. Got displaced from Hurricane Katrina and had to change high schools a couple times. Had just a lot of things that he had to manage, and that's hard when you're a younger athlete, especially one of the better athletes, and then for him to overcome that and then still, get drafted, and again, 3 points a game, where how frustrating it is when you've been one of the best players every single year of your life, and then now you go into the NBA and you're 3 points a game, and they're basically telling you just go run corner to corner, and then you're so much more capable.
Yeah.
And so that's a different battle. Yeah. It's there's all these little, I call them the deep games, the games you play in your head and your heart that you don't even know you're playing sometimes, but you got to win those to ultimately.
Just everything that you do, spotlight.
Yeah.
You got to think about every decision that you make, which is, it comes with it, so I have no problem with it. Mm-hmm. But it's and I tell the people around me, my brother's around here somewhere, dude, every single decision that you make is going to come back.
He said, "Over That's right, baby.
No, brother.
Cutting the bullshit. I like it."
But it's not a bad thing though. It's a blessing. All this is a blessing. I keep telling everybody, when we have these type of conversations, "Oh, it's a burden. It's a burden." It's not a burden. It's a blessing. It's a blessing in disguise. I'm happy. I'm blessed to be able to every single, Kelly said, every single time I go out and people want to take pictures and want to say hello, I try to do that for the most part. The only time that I don't take pictures.
I'm not sure, but they were saying that
Okay,
they're
we just
looking at
gonna-
it now.
Yeah, Sam will take it.
But yeah, only time
Sam.
I ever stopped.
Give me the keys. Okay.
Only time I didn't stop was at Disney. I'm like, listen, guys, you guys, I really do, but I need to ride every ride here. Why? You know what I mean? That's the only time I try not to stop, man.
For instance, like he loves that. Like KO's always like guarding, playing hard. He could care less if he like whatever the outcome.
Yeah.
He's like, man, he's competing. But then like if certain players aren't or certain whatever, he just goes crazy.
Yeah. No,
You know what I mean? You would agree with that, wouldn't you?
For
Like,
sure, that's what I said.
it's just because
Effort
like
and
if you fall
accountability.
short with effort, it's like they're like, all right, you know.
Yeah, and that should be just normal. It should be normalized. Like, I mean, taking back 2 games, me and Joe going at it, trying to motivate each other, getting on each other about.
I love that.
You
I
need
loved
that
it
in your
too.
team.
It's competition.
That shows that you want to win. It shows that you care. So,
That's all plus.
you know,
It
that's
just all
good.
that showed was like both of y'all are really. That's why I didn't even say anything to the end of it. Like they just both want to win, and it
That
happens
was
like
competition.
in the NBA, 82 games. Like sometimes, like and especially in basketball, teams get hot and you just can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? So, but it's frustrating when you know you're like this is a game that we need to win or we're supposed to win. But, you know, it happens like that sometimes, and those are two, like Kelly and Joel. Y'all know how Joel is. He's the most competitive person I've ever been around in my life. He doesn't like we played Monopoly the other day. listen, this man, we played Monopoly the other day. We're sitting, me, him, Paul, and I think one of the trainers, and we're playing, and he's like bullying. He's like bullying Paul, like Paul, and like, no, like I'm gonna get boardwalk. Like it's like he's not gonna stop playing. I'm like, all right, Joe, I don't have time for this. The 3 hours that went by, nobody has a set of properties. He's like, no, we're not done playing until I win. Like he will sit there, like he's so competitive, and like it's good to have that on your team. Like Kelly's the same way, man. Like especially when it comes to basketball, man. Like, that's why I want fans to know, like at the end of the day, like these guys, everybody out here, like really wants to win. You know what I'm saying? Like. And it's hard, man. Winning is hard. Winning is extremely hard, especially in this league and today. It's difficult, but
Slump, and what he didn't tell people was his hand was completely messed up. But he was like, if I do, then I'm gonna sit out, and now, you know, I'm not out there for my team competing. But if I go out there and play, everyone's gonna be like, damn, Kelly's in a bad shooting slump, and he's like, they don't understand it. So I think that's the other thing to realize is that like it's you know, obviously, in an ideal world, you guys would know all the ins and outs of everything that's going on, and as you guys know, that there's a lot of things that, you know, sometimes it's frustrating when you don't have all that information, but I think at the end of the day, like, individually, he's always like, what can I do to help us win? He's like, what can I do to help us win? And then there's also frustrating times where, like, you might be a player where, like, you know, I might put them in a group text and be like, hey, he knows he can do more. Like, get him involved in some different pitch actions and get him involved in this kind of stuff. And it's like, collectively, everybody's just trying to figure out, like, ultimately how to be their best for the team so that the team benefits and you individually benefit, which is, that's a lot of mix and match, and that's got to happen for everybody to, like, be happy. So
I have, like, he knows, I had the, like, ultimate confidence in myself from day one of like being on the Sixers. Like I felt like I should be in the start. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like I've been good, and I work extremely hard. But I've never met someone who could like believed in me, but was like showing me, like humbling me, of course. You know what I'm saying? But he believed in me, and like he was challenging me from day one. As soon as I walked into the gym, it was like, oh, you're not better than this person. You're not better than that person. You're not better than this person. And I'm just sitting there thinking like. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like we go back and forth with each other, like from day one, off rip, before we even start workout. And it was like throughout that whole summer of last year, I went home and I told my dad, like, you gotta come watch this, like, come watch me work out because it was totally different. You know what I'm saying? I've always everybody's worked out. I just killed because I'm in shape and I'm a good listener. But like Drew's attention to detail and his way to make you really like think, wow, I can do things I didn't think I could do. Like him saying, he talked about averaging 26. I'm like, he's downplaying the situation. Like I was like, no, there's no way. I was telling my little brother, there's no way I can average 20. Like, there's just not enough possession in the game for me to average 26. And even my little brother, he's kind of like Drew. He's like, bro, you can. Like it's really possible. Like listen to him. And then when Drew started breaking stuff down, like scoring, assists, playing the right way, doing this, that, and the third, then you start really thinking like, dang, maybe I can do it. Then this summer, like you can make another jump. I'm like, make another jump, like, bro. I was. You know what I'm saying? I was an all-star. How much higher can I go? Well, I think you could be MVP one day. And like, I knew I've always believed in myself to be good, but I never believed that I could do some of the things that I've done today. So I do want y'all, like, I know y'all taking this right here, and this is really good, but like really read this and like really think about this stuff, because like he can push you, and it's not all about basketball. I always tell people, like, man, like, when I always say get 1% better, I don't mean just basketball, I mean life in general. You know what I'm saying? So when y'all read this, I don't know, I haven't got a chance to read it yet because I read something else right now, but when y'all read this, I want y'all to think, like, man, if it's a basketball reference, whatever it is, bring it to your own life, because it will make you get better, I promise you. If you really just sit down and let it happen, like, it'll make you be better, and it'll make you want to be better for yourself. So I will say that.
Hey everyone, I'm here with Drew Hanlen, famous NBA skill trainer, with his brand new book, Stop Bullshitting Yourself. So Drew, I have a quick question. What's one idea from the book that you wish you mastered earlier in life?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I would boil that down into three things. You know, there's a system, and that's what I think that I didn't have when I was younger. You know, when I was younger, I did so many things that benefited me as a basketball player, like gave up sweets when I was 12 years old, shot 1,000 shots before school. So I was working really hard, but I didn't necessarily have like a blueprint or a plan. I just was hoping all that hard work paid off. So the three things I always say is, the first thing is I wish I like identified one thing at a time that I focused on, instead of like trying to work on everything and hope that it led to results. The second thing would be basically building a blueprint for that one thing, breaking it down into individual pieces. So instead of saying like, oh man, I want to get better at shooting, that means I would just try a bunch of different things. I'd say, okay, well, what goes into getting better at shooting? And then the third thing is just the mindset that goes into like chasing what real happiness is. You know, because when you're younger, especially as like an entrepreneur or somebody that looks up to, you know, and gets to surround themselves with a bunch of like famous athletes, sometimes you want to strive for so much instead of realizing that like true happiness and true internal peace is what we should be striving for. So I know you asked for one thing, but I'd say more of a system. The system is like identifying the one thing that you need to change. Numbers two would be like putting together a blueprint to actually make that change a reality. And then number three is having the right focus on what you're after, because I think it's so easy for us to want more cars, more money, more, instead of just being like, what is going to actually make you wake up and love the life that you're living and love who you are.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
I love the idea too about the unseen hours, by the way. I live by that.
It's crazy. We were actually, just so you know, when we were filming that was a random thing that happened. We were in the gym and Sam was doing an interview, and he was asking me questions, and he said, like, what separates the greatest athletes in the world from everybody else? And it was a hard question because, you know, there's obviously a million things. Talent's one of them, hard work is another one, and there's so many other things that go into it. But then I thought about it and I realized it was like, it's what people do when no one's watching. It's how they think when no one's watching. It's how they win the battles in their heads and their hearts. It's, you know, the work they put in when there's no cameras on and the scoreboard's off. And I really do think that if more people looked at their lives and said, like, what am I doing when no one's watching? You know what I mean? If you're overweight, it's probably because you're snacking when no one's watching. You know, if you have a six-pack, it's probably because you're working hard when no one's watching. If you have financial freedom, it's probably because you're working really hard in an office or doing whatever entrepreneurial kind of journey that you're on when no one's watching. And so I really wish that people kind of really understood that. Like, it's not about what you do when everyone's watching and when everyone's, you know, kind of,
the light is bright.
Yeah, when the light is bright. It's more so about the decisions and actions that you make that seem so irrelevant in the moment, but lead to like meaningful things in the long run.
Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite NBA story? And be sure to grab a copy of Drew Hanlen's latest release, Stop Bullshitting Yourself, in the description.